My name is Nate Figueroa. I'm a captain at the Madison Heights Fire Department. Welcome to Fire Fridays, and today we're going to do a life of a captain at the Madison Heights Fire Department. So I've been here since 2014. I've been a firefighter since 2004, but I've been with the city of Madison Heights since 2014, and I've been a captain for about 2 years now. So come on with me and I'll show you what a captain does here at the city of Madison Heights. So every morning we do a briefing, a morning brief. We'll bring the crews into the watch office, which is where we are now. I kind of outline the day, put a little bit of a weather report because that does have an effect on our job. So, but we'll outline the day that what we're going to do for the day. So today we have truck checks every day. We do a fair amount of housework just to keep everything tidy and clean. We have some vehicle stabilization training, which we'll go to a little bit later. That we're going to practice stabilizing some overturned vehicles, so you get to see that. Station windows, outside cleanup, and we clean the admin area. So after I get my gear on the truck and do a truck check, I'll come into the office here. This is our calendar. There's a lot going on, but it shows all the units, any trainings that are happening today, any other events that might happen through the day. Will be on this calendar, any overtime that needs to be filled, people that are off, requesting time off or off on leave. So I'll also call dispatch and let them know our staffing for the day. We do have some different staffing that determines what trucks go on call, so we call dispatch and just let them know. So I'll go ahead and do that. Good morning, it's Captain Figueroa. How are you today? I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, the fire department is at 8 today and everything is available. You're welcome, have a good day. Bye. So that's the bulk of what happens in here. We have a training roster too, so I can come into here on my roster. This is where I'll assign everybody to the trucks, and this is tied in with dispatch. So as they assign a certain vehicle on a call, it puts the appropriate personnel on the call. So that's kind of my morning work on here. I'll check the emails, make sure I didn't miss anything overnight, that there's not anything important to pass on to the crew. So as a captain of the fire department, we assume some extra roles over and above what the firefighters do. So as a captain, we're a shift commander and an incident commander. So we're also all paramedics. There's 3 captains in the fire department here in Madison Heights. I'm one of them. We have 2 lieutenants that work under us, and then there is 7 firefighters on each shift. So the captain's job on calls is to kind of oversee and run the overall incident with the help of the lieutenant. So on a fire scene, typically the captain is going to be the one that's outside of the incident, getting that full 360 picture of everything, making sure the tactics that we're using are effective and working, and kind of have that job to really keep the crews safe and make sure that the plans that we're doing is working and is effective. So in addition to that, most of the captains have an additional role. Mine happens to be a training coordinator. So not only am I a training coordinator here in the fire department, well, I will be. Captain Powers is going to be retiring here in April, so I'm kind of being groomed for that position. But what we have is a training schedule. So this training schedule here, I'm working on 2024s now. This is just an overview of all the fire training that we do in the fire department. Each month we will do a certain training. As you saw, we're going to do vehicle stabilization training today, so you will see some of that. So not only am I the training coordinator here, I'm a training coordinator as part of the Oakway organization, which I know Tom has covered before. There is 11 fire departments in the Oakway organization. We're going to go out on a call here, so come on for a ride.
Entry 71, Rescue 71.
So as you can see, this is our mapping system here. I can put in an address as we're going to the call, and it kind of gives an overhead view of where we're going. If this were a fire incident, it shows where the hydrants are, where our connections are as well. So it's a nice tool to have this mapping system for us as we're heading to the call. So on a really large-scale incident, we'll pull out a command board here that allows us, it's an accountability board, but it really allows us to keep track of everything that's going on that incident. It has a dry erase marker for us to be able to kind of draw out hazards that exist on the scene. We have some accountability tags for other units so that incident commander can keep track. On the large-scale incidents, we'll assign certain sectors. So we have in here the the planning section, we have the incident commander vest, the public information officer. So these are just things that exist to kind of help keep the organization that is the chaos of a large-scale incident. And this is just a tool that we have on the truck. It doesn't get used often, thankfully, but it is something that we have in Oakway. All of the Oakway fire departments have this. Again, this is one of those nice things that Oakway allows us to do, is have these big purchases like this. So on any large-scale incident, you might see one of the fire officers out. So we covered the case commander for the large-scale incidents. Also, this is kind of our command tactical worksheet for the local fire department here. So if we just have a fire that we can handle with Ferndale and Hazel Park, which is our auto aid, then this is something that I'll use, again, to keep track of what's going on at the fire, the accountability, who's where and what they're doing, and hazards that exist. So this is kind of similar to the case commander, but at a much for a smaller scale incident. So we talked about additional roles and responsibilities that the captains have. In addition to training coordinator, I'm also the manager for all the hose. So as you can see here, we have quite a bit of fire hose. We're in the process currently of phasing out some of this older red hose with the gray couplings and switching to a different brand of hose that has the gold couplings. That's why you can kind of see the difference here. So the average life of a fire hose, barring that it doesn't fail, it does get tested annually, but sometimes there can be other failures as well, is about 10 years. So every 10 years we cycle through the fire hose. You can see here we have different sizes. This is our 1 3/4 hose. This is our standard fire attack hose. We have some 2.5 down here, which is also an attack line. Just gives us a little bit more gallons per minute. And then we have our supply hose here, our 5-inch supply hose that we connect to the fire hydrants. And this is what gets water to the truck and then is delivered via the rest of the hose. So that's just another job that I have here in the fire department, is managing the hose testing, the ordering. We get this new hose, we do trial runs with it and see what works well for our organization. And that's just another role that I do. So earlier I talked about Oakway. I wanted to just take a second to touch on that. Oakway, this is our patch here, is a combination of 11 fire departments in the region. It's a mutual aid group that allows some of the lower staff fire departments to have access to greater resources. That especially comes in handy for technical rescue incidents and hazmat incidents. There's a larger pool of equipment that we have access to. So of those 11 departments, we have Waterford, Pontiac Regional Fire Department, us, Madison Heights, Bloomfield Township, we have Birmingham, Ferndale, Royal Oak, Southfield, West Bloomfield, and then there's 3 that are not on here that have recently joined, Farmington Hills, Rochester Hills, and Independence Township. So those 11 fire departments make up Oakway, and again, it's just a mutual aid group that allows us to get more resources, especially on those larger scale incidents. Crews here are going to get ready to stabilize this overturned vehicle. This is a common scenario that you might see somewhere on a wreck, especially with I-75 and 696 being in our city. We do get some high-speed crashes, so it's not uncommon for us to find an overturned vehicle on its side. You'll see that the crews are kind of walking around the vehicle. We make estimations as to which way that vehicle is most likely to turn over, and then we'll get some struts on here for some stabilization that allows that vehicle to be nice and stable so that we can go in if somebody's trapped inside of it. We can go into that vehicle after it's stabilized and then extricate the patient. So the first thing that we do is what we call primary stabilization. You can see they've got the step chalks here. This will kind of fill any void space that we have under this vehicle before we start getting the struts. So now we're coming in on this back side here with these struts. There's going to be one on each side. The goal with this is to kind of create a large base triangle of this vehicle. So we want the vehicle, we're going to widen the footprint of the vehicle by making it a triangle with these struts. So they're going to come in on either side with these struts here and kind of create what will form a triangle. So we'll go around to the other side and then watch them place that strut over there. You can see the crews are placing a strut on the bottom side of the vehicle here, and the other crew is placing a strut on the opposite side. Like I said, you can see that these struts come down at an angle, and the one on the other side is doing the same, which ultimately gives us that nice wide stable base. Once this vehicle is stabilized with these struts, then we'll go in and go ahead and make entry into that vehicle and access the patient. But the struts are in place and they're attached to the vehicles. The crews will kind of coordinate with each other and tighten them down to bring tension in and kind of pull everything down into that ground and create that solid base here. So you can see that they're working on it on this side here with the ratchet straps. You can hear the clicking as they bring all of that tension into these struts and really kind of transfer that weight of the vehicle onto the struts with that wide base for stability. So the original stabilization was done, but this is just another alternative method here. So when it comes to using these struts and this equipment, there's always multiple different methods just because you never know how the vehicle is going to lie in the road. You never know what type of access we're going to have. So what they did here was just run these straps on the ground underneath the vehicle. Sometimes we don't have access underneath the vehicle to do that, so that we'll just kind of have to attach it somewhere on the body here. So again, you can see here we've created this nice triangle space here, and the vehicle is nice and stable. So at this point in time, we would go into extrication mode now that the vehicle is stabilized, using the jaws of life to extricate the victim out. Alrighty. Earlier you had asked what inspired me to be a firefighter, and I grew up with my mom as a nurse, so I got to watch her kind of take care of people growing up. And as soon as I saw her passion in that, and it's just something that I shared. So once I got out of high school, I actually started doing some nursing schools, and I got to the patient care aspect of it, and I just really fell in love with that firefighter paramedic side. So I just love giving back to the community. It's great to be able to make a difference in people's lives, whether it be large or small, each and every day. And we get the opportunity to do that here with this career. It's the greatest job in the world. I'd like to thank you all very much for the Fire Friday video and tuning in. There'll be more to come. And thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the life of a captain at the Madison Heights Fire Department.